This podcast is brought to you by Independent Building Advice. IBA acknowledges traditional owners of the land and waters this podcast is recorded on. If you find this episode helpful, follow us for more so we can continue putting out free value for all homeowners in Australia. It really goes a long way. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome back to the Home Building Podcast. My name is Behan. I am the host, but also the Director of Independent Building Advice. Today, we are talking about a subject of do's and don'ts about building your home or extending your home. In this, I am going to give you my 10 cents worth on a whole lot of different topics. It's various topics of what I think you should or shouldn't do or what you should consider. This is going to help virtually everybody, hopefully, on here. By all means, you can argue with me as much as you like. Leave comments below. Or if there's anything in here that you think I've missed or you have an opinion about something, this is just my opinions or my thoughts on subjects across the whole board of building, and hopefully you get something from it. If you do like this episode, or in fact, any of our episodes, please feel free to leave a review, leave some comments below. Let us know how you're finding it. We do love the feedback. We do want people to put forward topics that they might find interesting or that they would like to learn more about. But at the end of the day, if you've got your own project and you do want help with it, or you're stuck, no matter where you are in the process, our whole team, they're all very experienced designers, architects, people who have built homes for years. We're here to help you. Just reach out to us, have a chat to us, and see what we can do to help you with your project. If we can't help you, we'll certainly give you the right advice we can, send you in the right direction. It's just a chat, and hopefully we can do something for you. Anyway, let's get into the podcast. So we've got a whole heap of different topics we want to talk about. And the reality is that this is my opinion. If you disagree with it, then do it your own way. But if you do agree with me or you think it's got some merit, well, hopefully it helps you get a great result for it. So number one, and this can be quite controversial, rather than spending $5,000 putting a spa bath or a bath in the ensuite, I found from experience talking for doing this for 25 years that most people don't actually get around to using the bath or the ensuite. In theory, it's great. I have perfect intentions. When I build this home, I'm going to sit there, I'm going to put some candles on, some nice music, relax, enjoy that bath or spa bath. Anyone with kids will tell you that very rarely is going to happen. If you're a couple now that are planning kids in the near future, I can pretty much assure you it's not going to happen. Most people I speak to, once they finish the home, they've lived in it. This is when people have come back to me to build their second or third home, and we ask them, do you want a bath or in the ensuite again? They generally always will tell me, oh, no, we hardly ever used it last time. Now, if you have a bath in the minor bedroom and you do like having baths, well, then, yeah, that's a great thing to look at because you have got a bath in the home. If you do have time, you can have that bath. But most of the time, the bath in the ensuite is just a waste of space. You could use that money elsewhere, and you got to clean that thing all the time, and it just sits there. It's not really going to be used unless you're using it now and you truly think you're going to get time to use that. Speaking of baths, if you've got a bath in the minor bathroom, in most homes, in a lot of homes, what builders do, they include for you, that bath will be a $1,575 bath, which is quite a small bath. For roughly about $50, it might be a bit more than that now, but roughly about $50, you can upgrade that to a $1,675 bath. So it is a lot bigger, it's a lot better, it fills the area better, hardly costs you anything, and it's a really nice upgrade for a better bath in the minor bathroom. So go from $1,575 to $1,675. If you've got basically a bench, I think personally that bench or top of the bench is worth more to you than vanity. So often I'll see a double vanity on a design where they've got two vanities in a bathroom, whether it's ensuite or minor bathroom, and it's in a very small cramped space, which means that it's mainly sink, and then you have very little bench space. And the problem with that, though, is that if you do makeup or if you're doing anything like hair dryers, anything like that, you've got nowhere to put it. You put it all around the sink, and it just isn't really that functional. So I'd probably recommend that if you're going to have a single vanity, ideally a 1,200 wide bench would be pretty nice to get plenty of space on each side. If you're going to do double vanity, I think 1,800 or bigger with total vanity space is a lot more space to actually work with that, with what you've got for all the extra gear that you might have around that sink area. Obviously, you want to have the mirror in front of the bench space so you can apply makeup or whatever and look at the mirror. Now, if you don't have that much space and you were planning a double vanity, I personally think a single vanity is better to go that way. Maybe even do a fancier or a bigger single vanity and then have the extra top space. I think that's more important, in my opinion, than having two sinks. If you love two sinks and you've got the space, then go for it. But I think people don't give enough weight to having that actual bench space to actually put things on. Yeah, that's just my 10 cents worth. Next to that, also, if you have a cupboard, try to avoid that gap between the shower and the cupboard. The reason why a lot of builders actually have that there is so that the trays can get in there. It's easy for them to tile that area and reach around into that side of the cupboard there. But the reality is, if you can bridge that gap there, it's a lot easier for cleaning. You'll thank me for it later. It just makes life a lot better from that perspective. On that same note, though, on the cabinetry, you can actually do a floating cabinet, which means that when you look at the cabinetry, it's actually off the ground. And in doing that, that actually doesn't cost anything. Often it's the same price as having the full-length cupboard underneath it. That floating underneath with a bit of a light under there, it's really nice mood lighting. But that is a really nice feature to make your bathroom look amazing, but really not costing you anything, right? So if your builder is charging for that, should be a minor charge, if anything, but normally it's about the same price or free. With the bathroom as well, you've got mitered tiling and non-mitered tiling. Check this with your builder. If it's a cheaper sort of builder, they won't have this included. And that means that the tile, when the tile comes up sort of where the bath is or sits on top, you'll basically see the edge of the actual tile if it's not mitered. If it is mitered, it's cut on a 45-degree angle and the two meet, and it's almost a very thin layer between the two. It's just it's a much nicer finish. It's a nice way of finishing the actual tiling and much better. It might cost you about $500-600 for the whole house, but mitered tiling is a great option for you from that perspective. You got your shower. So let's say you've got like a 1.1 by 1.1 shower space. Most people actually have their shower rows there with the actual tap coming down with taps, and you got actually the shower head coming down. Put your taps on the left-hand side. Let's say you're going in the shower, to your right. Put it on the side as you enter into the shower space. So you can turn the tap on, feel the heat or the cold until you get it just right, then step into the shower. A lot of them actually put the shower rows underneath on the other side of the shower head. That way you got to put your hand through the cold water or the hot water to actually turn it off and on. It makes sense just to have it off the one side. A simple flick mixer will do that for you. So just that with the shower makes a lot of sense to me. And if the budget permits, heated towel rails is a really good way to go. It just makes your towels so much more comfortable and it's an amazing way to go. So yeah, heated towel rails is a really nice extra. It doesn't cost that much more, but I think you'll really appreciate it. Let's talk about powder room location. So powder room, just to be clear, is a toilet with a little vanity that your guests would generally use. Now, a couple of tips here. If you have a 4-bedroom home, for example, and you have 3 or 2 bathrooms, so the kids' bathroom, your bathroom, and then you got another one for a little powder room, my recommendation to you is have a rule in the house that nobody is allowed to use that toilet unless you're a guest. And that way, you know that if a guest pops in, that toilet is always clean, right? Hey, it's the guest toilet. I know it's always clean. Now, good luck policing that with your kids, but at the end of the day, that would be a great philosophy to have because you've got a nice clean toilet. You've got their toilet, you've got your toilet, and that's the guest toilet. Now, what's a really cool thing that a lot of people do is they actually do a really funky, cool wallpaper in that room and go to town. It makes it like an exciting room that sort of surprises everybody. It's a different theme to the rest of the home. But the location is really important where you put this powder room, and that was my main point. If you have the powder room, you want to do a couple of things. You want to have it where it's really easy to explain to people where to go. You don't want to have it, okay, having your meals there, someone says, can I use your toilet, please? Yeah, sure. Go down the hall, turn left, then turn right. Now, you're going to see a little sign of a picture of a boat. When you actually go past that, turn left, then right, then left again, then right, and then at the toilet. You don't want it that complicated. You want it nice and simple. So guys, go straight down here, turn left, and then you'll find a door in front of you will be the powder room. So you want it nice and simple for people to find. Ideally, fairly central to the home so everyone can get to it quite easily, whether it be the theatre room or the living area or outdoors. And you want to make it simple. But you also want to make sure that people can't hear the toilet flushing from the room they just came from. So I've seen designs recently where the powder room was actually coming off the kitchen, which is probably not ideal. But you don't want to have the cistern backing onto the main living area. So I'll be back in a minute. They go to the toilet and you can hear them flush the toilet and it's just not great. So you want to bury it in the home, maybe near a linen cupboard or off a minor bedroom or something like that, so people have privacy and it feels better that way. Now, one thing also to keep in mind, though, is that you have a swimming pool outside, kids are soaking wet, they need to go to the toilet. Ideally, they don't go in the pool, so they actually hop out of the pool and they go to the toilet. You don't want them tracking wet stuff right through your home. So if you can, try and get the powder room near the laundry so they can sort of go through the laundry maybe and get into the powder room rather than just have a whole other powder room dedicated for the toilet, for the pool. Have that in the home somewhere so they can easily get to it from outside. That's a pro tip there, just to help you with that access if you have a backyard or in particularly a pool. Okay, so have the powder room easy to access. but have it also convenient to explain to people. Let's talk about doors. Everyone's favourite topic, doors. No one's actually ever said that about doors, but let's talk about doors. So, front door. Okay, first of all, with the front door, what is much, much better for security is having a nice big single front door as opposed to having two doors. The reason for that is big single front door, you've got plenty of room to move. We're opening a nice big 1200 door would be great. Or you can go like a 1040 or 1080 sort of door would be nice to open that. You actually enter the home, it's easy to get furniture through it, it's great. But the reason why it's better security than having a double door is often with a double door, if you kick it in the middle, it will fly open and you can get access and you can break in very simply. We were at a house a few years ago where my wife was in the study at the front of our home and we're on a bit of a corner, and she saw these guys rock in a car, run into a place, kick the front double doors, break into the home, bring a TV out. A minute later, break in the next place, get the TV out. And she saw them do 3 houses, and they were running up our driveway to do our house, which had double doors. And luckily, she made eye contact with the guy before he knocked our doors in, and he hopped in the car and drove off. The point is, though, that it's very simple to do. A single door bolts in better. It's better for security. It's much easier to look after. And very rarely, I doubt you're going to walk home and go, honey, I'm home, and then flick both doors open. I don't see the purpose of that. So a bigger, wider door is better for moving stuff in, but it is also better for security, which I think is a better way to go. You can have a nice feature door throughout the home, and that is having like a subtle feature. I like subtle. I think it's subtle if you want to have a feature through your home. However, these do add up, and they can be quite expensive if you do the whole home. A trick you can do is you can have a flush panel, which is just a white door to the minor bedrooms, minor hallways off the laundry, that kind of thing, and just do a feature door through the main parts of the home that look really nice. So you might have that through your entry hallway, it might be off your main living area, it might be off your lounge room, theatre room, and that's just got the slight feature door, but save a bit of money by doing the flush panels. The other thing you got to look at, if you've got higher doors than 31 courses, ceilings higher than 31 courses, so really nice high ceilings, you can raise the doors in your home to 28. They're normally 25, raise them to 28. That extra 3 courses, so there's about 3 course gap from the roof. 1 course being 86 millimetres, so they're sitting just below the roof as close as can. They'll actually make the home look a lot more grander, a lot bigger, and they'll make a big difference. The least brickwork you have above the door, the better it looks. So raise your doors from 25 to 28. It should probably cost you, depending on how many doors you've got, maybe $600 to $1,000. It's not a big upgrade in cost, but man, it looks so good when you do it. So that's a great way to go. And I haven't looked at this one for a while, but I believe it's still the case. Normal doors in your home are normally around 820 wide, which is really nice. I believe in most homes to go to 870 is a no-cost item. It's slightly bigger, it's a bigger opening space. You can actually fit a wheelchair through that. So an 870 from an 820. I haven't checked this for a while though, but last time I checked, it was about the same price to go a bigger door, and it looks great. So if you can do that, it's not a bad way of going, especially if you've got wheelchair access and things like that. So 820 to 870 for the doors. With that same thing on the doors as well, people don't put enough of them in a home. All right. So if you're finding a standard plan, unfortunately, the way the building industry is at the moment is that a builder will get a standard plan, and it is a race to be as cheap or look as cheap as possible compared to a competitor, because most people don't count up how many doors you've got, how big your kitchen is and so forth. So what the builder wants to do is they want to pull out as many doors as humanly possible out of that plan so that they appear cheaper than what you can realise, okay? But doors are your best friend, mate. They're so good. So you're in one room and the kids are running amok and you want some quiet, you can close the door. It cuts out so much sound. You've got a big, high ceilings or raking ceilings, you've got lots of volume in the room, and and it's really cold and you want to cool down the home, or heat up the home, close the door, and it keeps the area it keeps the heating or cooling in that particular room. There's not enough doors out there, but it makes a massive difference to your energy efficiency of your home. So please think about doors where you want them. If in doubt, put a door in, because it's going to be great for you. Where I don't think you need doors is things like pantries. If you've got it hidden away, like a walk-in pantry and you can't see it from it, you don't need a door on that. Why do you need a door? That's going to get in a hassle. Little double doors next to each other, you have to open both of them, like to pantries. They're terrible because you've got to use both hands, right? Ideally, if you can have one door, that would be much better for you. Unless you've got only a little bit of standing space, then 2 doors is better. But ideally, more doors to main living areas or hallways if you can, and also make sure that you have doors where you need them, where it's practical. Barn doors, you can love them, hate them. Everyone's different on this one. With the barn door, you don't have to have the typical barn looking door. You can get some really cool featured ones. You get ones that look like stone, ones that look like metal. There's some really cool ones out there. We're based in Homebase here. At Homebase, they've got quite a number on display here that you can have a look at, check out different ideas. Now, a barn door is typically on a rail where they slide open and closed. The thing with that, though, is that although they can look a bit cooler and a bit funky and different in your home, there is a gap between the wall and where the door is. So if you've got a bit of wind, that can rattle. Also, it's not going to cut out as much heat or cooling like I was saying earlier. You've basically got that sitting on that door there. So there is a gap there. It's going to let sound out. You're going to see light coming through it. So don't get a barn door if you want to have it on a theatre room completely black out, because you are going to get light coming through. Okay, so it's just something to think about with those. If you like them and you like that style, then they look great. Just have it as a feature. Now, the final door I want to talk about today, and we can talk more about doors if people want us to, cavity sliders. So a cavity slider is when you have a timber framed wall and the actual door goes into the frame of the wall. They look great. They're very handy. They don't have the swing doesn't affect anything, which is awesome. But you want to have a little handle on the door on the actual flush bend of the door where it actually goes there. So you can actually pull the door back out from the wall. It's amazing how often this doesn't happen, and you open the door and you can't close the door again. So just have a little latch there that the builder should do for you. That's nice and simple to really open the door and close the door. So it looks great. Okay, the next topic is space and feel. This is a big one. I'm very, very passionate about this. This is something I see is often overlooked and something that you will appreciate it when it's not there, and that is just space. You go into a room and you go, wow, this room feels really good. It doesn't feel cramped, doesn't feel crowded. It doesn't feel like you're trying to fit every piece of furniture into that room. And what I'm talking about here is take a table, for example. Let's say you have a rectangular table. This is your dining table, and it's 1 meter by 2.4 meters, right? Well, when you have that table in a living area, you need to make sure that if guests are sitting there, they have room to sit at those chairs and they can actually eat, have a good chat. So 60 centimeters is an okay space to have behind that chair. I personally think 90 to a meter is a really good space where people can sit back, lean back, chat. They can pull their chair out and someone's not trying to creep past them like you would on an airline. They can actually sit there, they can actually move around it, and it feels good. But then if you've got to have that space there, and so let's say you allow a meter behind that table and the table's a meter wide, you've got to allow 3 meters for actual space for using the kitchen table, but not also the actual meals table. But you actually need space around that, right, to work so that people can walk past it at the same time. So let's say you have that table in your dining area, but next to that you have your kitchen bench that has a breakfast bar where you got stools sitting up there. Well, again, you're going to need 70, 80, 90 centimeters for that person to pull their stool out and also sit up at the kitchen as well as have the kitchen bench there. So you're going to be pretty tight on space if you don't allow enough area for a walkway. And even if you don't have people using the breakfast bar and at the table at the same time, it's going to look cramped. It's going to look like you ran out of space. You didn't think about it. So you want to allow enough walk space to be able to walk through that area, especially if the sliding doors or something's on the other side, that people can get there comfortably through that. You don't want your couch so far from the TV that you can barely see it, and you don't want your couch so close to the TV that it looks like you're at the front row of the cinema. You want to make sure it feels good, nice and spacious. You can have a coffee table there, and there's a gap to walk around that's nice and comfortable. Now, in doing that, when you first look at that room, you're going to, wow, I love this space. It's got a great feel to it. And you're going to know instantly what it is, but you're not necessarily going to be able to put your finger on what that is. To fix this, what you want to do is get your plans out, print them 1 to 100, so 1 centimeter is 1 meter, right? And if you speak to architects, they often don't do it to that scale. Ask them to do it to that scale. Print it out, buy yourself some sketch paper, get a pen out, and draw your furniture in to scale and measure it, right? This exercise will take you half an hour to 45 minutes to do your whole house, but it'll pay for itself in dividends because you're going to work everything out up front. Where's my TV going to go? Where's my couch going to go? Where's the dining table? Do I have area to walk around and make it feel spacious, right? Really important. Space is so underappreciated until it's not there. Okay, it's got to feel like it's a comfortable room. Same thing with your bedrooms. Make sure that if you're going to have double beds in there for the kids' bedrooms, or you're going to have a king, whatever, that you've got room to walk around, you've got room for the bedside tables, that you've got to have a desk in there or a study desk, or if you've got to have a makeup area. Make sure you've got enough room to walk around and move around, and it will feel luxurious and feel great. You can tell instantly when it hasn't been thought about. Same thing with space goes for your kitchen. You want to make sure that, and this is a big bugbear of mine, is that your rear bench, so the bench where your hot plate normally is, and your island bench, there's at least minimum, I'd go 1,100, but I still think that's too tight. I'd go 1,200 gap between the two, and I think 1,300 is amazing. Enough to turn around and take just half a step to be able to get to the other bench, but not 2 steps because it's too much, and enough room for you to be cooking or at the dishwasher or wherever you want to be, or the sink or whatever it might be, and the other person in the kitchen can get past you without nudging you or without having to do a waltz to get past you. You want to make sure that they've got enough room. So 1,200 to 1,300 I think is absolutely amazing. Anything less than that's terrible. If you've got 1,000 millimeters, like a 1 meter or 900, mate, I would be reviewing that immediately. That is really tight. That's something you might put in an apartment when one person's living there. Okay, it's a really, really tight space. If you don't believe me, take it to your own house, right? Wherever you've got a kitchen now, measure that 1 meter out and try and cook with someone else in the kitchen and see how you go. It's not fun. Trust me on that one. Okay, so that spacing is really good. Stay on the kitchen. I'm now going to move into semi-controversial area to really controversial area in a minute. So semi-controversial. Okay, sink on the island. I'm not a fan of it. Okay, and the reason for that is a couple of things, right? So if I'm actually, let's say if you're looking at this video, and let's say I've got an island bench in front of me here, and I've got the sink here, I'm doing the dishes. Well, one, water's going to go everywhere. I'm terrible at doing dishes. But also, if I've got someone sitting opposite me, I've got a big tap sitting in front of me. Right, it's blocking that view. It's really limiting what I'm doing. I'm there chatting. I can watch the TV and everything else like that, but it is limiting my island bench for what I've got there. If I have drying racks there, it's just not a great look if it's sitting on the island bench. So I am not a fan of that. I prefer it on the back bench or another bench that's away from me. On top of that, if you're going to have that sink in that spot there, and you do have it off to one side. You want prep area. You want to be able to sit there and make some food or a salad or something like that. Chat to somebody sitting opposite you at the breakfast bar and have a conversation. It's more interactive than being at the sink. Okay, so that's one thing. On that same sink tone there, this is getting a lot more controversial, right? And that is sculleries. If you're going to have a scullery, so many people, and this is my issue with it, so many people have the scullery and then they go, I want to have my double sink in the scullery. And you know what? That way, when we're having a dinner party, all these dirty dishes, we can pick them up, we can put them in the scullery, and they're all dirty. And you know what? Our friends, our guests have got over, going to look at us, gosh, you've got such a beautiful home. And I don't know what magically happened to those dirty dishes. They just disappeared, but you know what? It looks gorgeous again now, and you can deal with it later. Now, my issue with that, though, is basically, one, I'm pretty sure your guests are going to know that you did have dirty dishes and they didn't magically disappear. Second of all, though, if you're in the scullery, you're basically in a glorified linen cupboard doing the dishes by yourself like you're a slave, washing them, and you can't see anything, you can't communicate, you can't do much, and your friends are less likely going to help you out if you're doing the dishes, and obviously you've got a dishwasher. But then at the end of the day, when you've actually, let's say you have a dishwasher in the sink, in the scullery, and you put all the stuff in the dishwasher, when you unpack the dishwasher, you've got all these clean dishes, you now have to pick them up, and I assume you have your dishes in the main kitchen area. You've got to take them all into the main kitchen area and then pack them. So you're double handling the whole time. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. To me, what makes more sense is to have the double sink or your main sink in your main living area, depending on your kitchen size, of course. And then in that double sink area there, you would have your bin sink dishwasher, so you can scrape, rinse, and then put it in the dishwasher. Then when you pull it out, you can put that stuff away and then have a smaller sink in your scullery, so that if you've got the NutriBullet happening or the Thermomix or something like that, and you want to rinse it out, you can rinse it out. It's all there, and that stuff stays parked in there, and you got the sink that's convenient, but have your main double sink in the main living area. On that note, I'm a big fan of undermount sinks. I'd have that undermounted and have a pull-out tray if you want the tray there, then you can put it away when you don't need it. They look great. It's good spacing, but that's something that's really, really important, and I think it's something that a lot of people, I believe, will have sculleries and they'll love it in theory, and then when they actually live in the home for a while, I don't think they'll do that again. Now, I could be wrong, and if you disagree with me, by all means, leave the comments below. If you do agree with me, by all means, definitely leave comments below. We do want to hear from you, and we're happy to, if we see a good comment or something like that, we will respond as best we can. So that's a really controversial thing. And, jumping back to the kitchen for a second, I disagree personally with having a hot plate in the island as well, okay, for a few reasons. One, if you're going to have the hot plate in the island and someone's sitting opposite you and you're cooking things like bacon or anything that spits, mate, you're going to blind them. They're going to can I stop talking to you because I've got my face is burning because I've got like oil on my face. That's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to get oil and dirt everywhere in your kitchen, depending what you got there, and that's basically going to be slimy. It's not going to be nice on the island bench. When you're also there, you can get those range hoods that basically suck the air from what you're cooking, but are they that effective? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced, right? I've seen some that look good and they are semi-work, but are they really that effective? And the ones that would probably do enough suction to get all that air out of there and not blind the person in front of you who's from the smoke and so forth, they're probably going to be really noisy as well. So I'm not convinced that they're that good. If you have a range hood coming down, that's even worse. So it's just blocking your view. I did build a home for a guy who was 6'7" a while ago, and a long time ago, and a mate of mine, and he basically said, no, it'll be great. And obviously had the range hood sitting above him. So whenever he was cooking, he was staring at a range hood, which I thought was hilarious. And I did remind him that I told him so a few times, and he kind of agreed with me. But anyway, I don't think that's the way to go. Again, I would have that bench as a prep area, a place that you can, make salad and so forth, meats, whatever, talk to people. You can have a chat, you can have a glass of wine or a drink, whatever, and make it interactive. Keep that your prep area. Allow it to be interactive with people. Just a moment of your time, I just want to talk to you about something. A problem that we commonly see when building or renovating or extending is people go down one path of we're going to build a new home here, we're going to demolish and build, or they go down another path they want to extend or renovate their home, only to find out after they spent quite a bit of money designing the house that was the wrong path and they should have actually gone the other way. This could cost you $5, $10, $15, $20, sometimes $30,000 by going down that wrong path. And the reason for that is they got bad advice, they got caught up in an element of their home and then expanded to something better. And often, sometimes it might be cheaper, more affordable, or a better outcome for you to go the other way than what the area you originally planned down. So to help this, what we've done, we've created a little document here that will actually ask you a series of questions, not too many questions, but it will actually help you work out for yourself which is the best path to go down. Should we demolish the home and build new? Or should we just have the current home and extend that and make that a better home or renovate that home for you? So we encourage you in the show notes to download our little program that we've got there for you. You'll see it all there and fill it out yourself. And that will allow you to make a clear decision at the start of whether you should build or you should actually extend your home or renovate your home to make it just right for you. It's an unbiased quiz. We put a lot of time into it to really give you real information. Now, at the end of the day, if it's still borderline, you're still not sure, we're more than happy to come out there and give you proper advice. But this is designed to help you without anyone else's help and just fill out the questionnaire. So show notes, have a look at it. Hopefully it helps you. Thanks very much for your time. I don't understand in our society where we have lots of barbecues, spend a lot of time outside, typically, not everybody, why people have their kitchen so far away from their outdoor living area. It blows me away. I've seen so many homes where the kitchen's tucked away and you can't even see the outdoor area. And it's across the meals and the family area, but the outdoor area is miles away. So if if you've got friends over and they're outdoors and you're having a barbecue and you're in the kitchen preparing a salad, you're so far out of the conversation. You can see your friends, maybe you can see your friends having a good time, but you don't know what they're doing. And then you go, oh, look, I'm going to bring the salt and pepper out, and you grab it and you take it all the way out to the Alfresco area, and then you go, oh, wait, I forgot the tomato sauce. Excuse me, I'll be back in 10 minutes, and walk back, get the tomatoes. You're just completely disconnected. I'm a massive fan of the kitchen off the Alfresco, where it's connected, where either directly off the Alfresco area or in meals area. That way, if you're having a barbecue, you're part of the conversation. You're indoor, outdoor, but you can also be part of the indoor part of the home as well, where you can talk to the meals area, family area. So the kitchen, I just don't understand why people have it so far away. I believe it should be part of this indoor-outdoor living area lifestyle, because that's the most Australian way of living their lives, and it makes sense to me. While we're talking about indoor and outdoor, let's talk about the Alfresco area, the outdoor area. Look, you could have a fan, and I'm a big fan of having a fan in your Alfresco area, one or two. You get some really stylish fans out there, if you look online, there's some beautiful fans out there. But the reason for that is that a bit of breeze there stops a lot of flies and mosquitoes. Not that it stops them flying through it, they just don't like it. You can even have your sliding doors or stacker doors or bifold doors that lead from inside to outside. You can even open that right up. And then from that, when you open that right up, you can actually, with the breeze of the fans, it actually stops a lot of flies and mosquitoes coming through the home. And that, I think, is a big difference. Also, it's nice to have that nice loose breeze on a hot summer's day. It makes a big difference. So this applies to the whole house. And something to think about, window length And let's talk about bedrooms and that in particular. So you have your windows length, and often people will just go, let's go full length windows all the way to the ground. And I don't think that's necessarily the way to go. And this is everyone to your own. So with a sliding door, just to be clear, that should go all the way to the ground because it's a door. But for a window in particular, I don't necessarily think it's the way to go. And I'll tell you why. If you have a window that goes all the way to the ground, well, first of all, if you've got young kids or anybody in particular and let's say you drop the ball, there's a good chance that it's going to hit that window at one point, like a cricket ball or something in the home. It's going to crack that window pretty easily. So it's susceptible to being broken. 2, if you've got garden outside, especially a garden bed or something like that, and you have the sprinklers on it, it's going to put dirt onto that window. It's going to look dirty all the time. If you're a clean freak, it will look dirty all the time because you're just going to get marks on the whole thing. And also, depending on what side of the home it's going to be and how it's solar oriented, the sun's going to hit that and it's going to fade your flooring. I'm not a big fan of it. The other thing is, though, if you actually have it off the ground, you can furnish in front of it. You put a skirting board around it, whichever it might be. So I'm not a fan of full-length windows if you can avoid it. Up to you. This is just my opinion, but I think if you have it even like 4 or 5 courses off the ground, 30 centimetres to 40 centimetres. It's a nice finish. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of full-length windows because I think the negatives certainly outweigh the positives. A couple of things to think about with outdoor while we're sort of in that sort of genre is I would have a switch outside to turn your Alfresco lights on, obviously, but also to turn your backlights on, right? Turn your lighting on at the very back of the home. So if you're out there and you hear a noise outside, you can turn the light on and your whole backyard is lit up, even your garden. So this is really good for a couple of reasons. When you hear a noise, you don't really want to walk all the way out the backyard, turn the light on. That's not quite convenient. So you might want to turn the light on from inside to see what's happening out there. 2, let's say you're running late home, you've got people dropping in and you want the place to look good. You turn the light on and your back garden is lit up, gives you mood lighting, gives you a feature lighting, and it can be done from inside. Nice and beautiful, it works well. So just have a light switch that is dedicated outside. If you don't want to plan out your garden just yet, as long as you have a conduit going to there and you have a switch that turns it on, your landscaper can hook that up after you finish construction. So just that light switch, to think about that at the back. Same thing for the front, having a front yard light out there. If you've got guests coming over and you want to light up the garden, it's just a bit of mood lighting, have a switch, turns the light on. If you have a gate at the front there, make sure you have a hardwired doorbell at the front gate. So you want to make sure power so that people can press the button there and you can actually get that doorbell working. You have to put batteries in it all the time. It's quite frustrating. So you want to have that, and even a light for the letterbox. Oh, Johnny's calling around. He hasn't been here before. You Uber Eats or something. You can turn that light on and it lights up your number at the front there. So if you have a wall at the front, make sure you have that power for the light. But that garden lighting goes a long way and it just makes your house look $1 million without costing anything. It's really nice. So now for the most controversial, I'm going to get shut down in flames here, comment. And, this is something I was weighing up whether I should say or not. Look, energy efficiency, I think it's really important. I think if you can have a really comfortable home all year round, that's great. You come home, turn the air conditioner on. Oh, actually, I don't need it on. It's beautiful, right? That would be the dream. We've gone from 6-star to 7-star. I'm not 100% sure if I'm a big fan of that. What I've heard from a lot of people is mold is becoming a real issue for people. That because the house isn't ventilated anymore, that mold is growing a lot easier. It's definitely not a healthy thing. But also the cost of building is just growing and growing and growing. If you have a 6-star home, I've personally found that incredibly comfortable to have a 6-star home. I don't really see the physical difference between a 6-star and a 7-star home personally, and I could be shot down here. So the cost difference between a 6-star and a 7-star, I don't see the value in that jump personally. And, obviously we've had energy efficiency people on the podcast. We talk to people all the time. I think that 6 to 7-star is the cost doesn't justify the actual outcome, but that's just my opinion. So I do believe in having energy efficiency to a degree, but I do think that there's got to be a level there that it's got to be affordable, because if you take into account, bushfire attack levels is going to cost you a lot of money, noise attenuation, you've got energy efficiency things you've got to do, you've got to meet the R code requirements, all these things add money to your home before you've even started. It all adds up and it becomes quite expensive for you. So I am about the environment, but I just want to make sure we're getting value for money for what we're putting into the homes. Now, look, these are some controversial things. This is my opinions. I'm more than happy to talk to people about it. At the end of the day, the home you're building is for you, and you've got to get what's best for you. You might hear my ideas and go, I like that idea, hate that idea, hate that idea. Or, yeah, that's a good idea. Nah, I want to do it my way. Anyway, that's totally up to you. This is just what I'm saying, and I'm trying to help people build a better home. If you like these podcasts, please leave us a review. If you don't like our podcast, well, you can leave a review if you want to, but don't rush. But at the end of the day, feel free to comment below. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a podcast idea you want us to talk about, mate, let us know. We'll do our best to try and cover it for you. If there's some guests that you want us to have on the show, let us know. We'd love to talk to them. But thank you for listening to Home Building Podcast. We appreciate everyone that listens to us. We do try our best to give you good content, and I look forward to seeing you next time.